So, Antonio Brown requested a trade from the Pittsburgh Steelers. Initially, I believed that they wouldn't end up trading him. Now, how I feel about the situation? Get him out of here, all right? We're cleaning the house with the cancers in the locker room. It's about time that he did come out and officially, request a trade, because initially I said I wasn't going to say anything regarding the trade situation until he personally comes out and says that he would like to be moved. Because all the media talk, all the different lip service going around, people saying, I heard them say this, I heard them say this, bunch of Hulk Hogan's over here trying to hear what the real scoop was. Ultimately now, Antonio Brown made his intentions clear, saying that he wanted to go somewhere else, preferably San Francisco, but most of the time he's not even in control of where he goes. We, the Pittsburgh Steelers, or I should say the front office, are in control, because I'm obviously not employed by the Pittsburgh Steelers. If I was, we'd be holding up some different Lombardis, but that's pretty much my own self-intellectual masturbation there. I'm not too sure if I would actually be able to deliver those to you guys, but nonetheless, this is how I feel about the situation. Get him up out of here. All right, and it's not the stigma, or I should say the curse, of the wide receivers who have left the Pittsburgh Steelers and done absolutely nothing basura regarding their eliteness when they were in Pittsburgh to now be mediocre since they left. I don't think that's going to be the case with Antonio Brown. He's a Hall of Fame receiver, Hall of Fame talent. I believe he'll be able to flourish no matter what team he goes to. But regarding the Pittsburgh Steelers, a lot of people talking about, well, Juju the GOAT, as people use this acronym far too often. They use it way too loosely. Everybody falls in the category of that, but that's for a different video. Regarding Juju Smith-Schuster, is he a number one receiver in this NFL league? Yes, he is. Is he an elite caliber receiver? Not yet. Okay, it's only his second year. Do not let the numbers, catch you in some sort of illusion genjutsu in which you believe the man is better than what he is. The way the Pittsburgh Steelers will win without Antonio Brown is to revert back to what Pittsburgh Steelers football has always been. Run the football, play effective defense, because as I pointed out at the tail end of this particular season in my State of the Pittsburgh Steelers address, when we run the football, we win games. Every single loss that we had, we didn't run the football effectively. More importantly, James Conner was not healthy down the line, so if he can stay healthy for 16 games and we hand him the ball a minimum of 18 times per game, we can win football games. Big Ben can sling it all over the field. We have no business having him throw for 5,000 yards anymore. You led the league in passing on 2 different occasions. Yes, you're tied with Drew Brees in 1 year. I believe that was 2014. But outside of that, you got no reason to be throwing the ball the most attempts in the league, or top 2 in the league. No business having to do that. Now that Antonio Brown's not there, you have no egos to have to deal with and want to feed people to football. We're cleaning house. L. Bell, he's already gone. All right, so he's going to be somewhere. We don't know where. Are we going to put a transition tag on him? I don't know. I preferably do not care, because the way I see it, going into week 1, going into the preseason, the starting running back for the Pittsburgh Steelers is going to be James Conner. Next, Antonio Brown. We're going to end up sending him somewhere. Where do we send him? I have no clue. If teams don't want to negotiate and get their hands on Antonio Brown, if he doesn't want to report and doesn't want to play, I'd highly doubt we're going to be in a situation in which he does the same thing that Le'Veon Bell did. Because you're a 30-year-old receiver. You think it's better for you to sit on your couch and do absolutely nothing? Look at all these receivers. Let's just have a conversation about receivers in the NFL real quick. Dez Bryant. He was no longer considered the number 1 receiver in the league, right? When he got released by Dallas. Let's just say he's a number 2 receiver. Going into last year, not this year, because obviously he's dealing with an Achilles tendon injury. But let's just say, going into last year, was he not going to be considered? Let's just say he's a number 2 receiver. Is he not a top 5 or top 10 number 2 receiver in the league? Adam Thielen, Stephon Diggs, whichever one you want to move it, that would probably be in your top 3. They got other receivers, Juju, Antonio Brown, that would probably be in your top 3. Other receiving tandems where you have these guys. Would Dez Bryant not by default be considered a top 5 or even top 10 number 2 receiver in the league? He was unemployed. It should show all of these different receivers around the league, this diva mentality that you have, that you're bigger than the organization. You got to let that go. Teams don't want that. And Antonio Brown has been, tolerated because Mike Tomlin gives you some wiggle room when you're a perennial All-Pro. It was a consensus around the league. You were the best receiver in the league, or if not the best, you're in the top tier of Julio Jones, yourself, DeAndre Hopkins. Those are the top 3. It stems and trickles down from there. Those are the best receivers in the league, and you have been there consistently for several different years. All right? But you wanted to continue to be a diva. Now you're seeing yourself being, traded somewhere else. Now, what I'd like to see the man traded for, I'd like to see a first-round pick in there. Granted, people are not going to throw first-round picks in there because the man's a 30-year-old receiver, but we just saw John Gruden get 2 first-round picks from Dallas for Amari Cooper, who pretty much hasn't had no huge, career when he was in Oakland. He had a couple of games, but most of the time, it's an up and down slope. So if teams are willing to overpay, I'd like to see somebody overpay for Antonio Brown. Hell, let's just start asking for the house. Why not call teams bluff? If you really want them, cool. Give us a couple first-round picks. Or not even a couple. That would be kind of asinine. Give us a first-round pick, maybe a first and a fourth, or a first and a player, or a high second, or 2 second-round picks, or maybe a third and a 2 and a player. Things like that. Let's just play with it. Let's see what we can get for them. Because the way that I see it, the Pittsburgh Steelers can still win whether Antonio Brown is there or not, as long as we go with the right philosophy. Now, granted, a lot of people have asked me regarding, if you want a culture change in the locker room, what about with the head coach as well? Here's my only issue. The way that I see it is, Ben and Tomlin, they're one and the same. When Ben retires, have John Laurinaitis or whoever the hell happens to be the head of the general manager or the president, whatever it is. If you're calling Art Rooney or something, then you can future endeavor Mike Tomlin, because I believe him and Ben, it's one of the same. One goes, the other one got to go right behind him. That's the way that I see it. They're both paired together. So when Ben finally decides to call it a career, probably in the next 2 years, Tomlin, you could go right behind him. Whether we hoist the Lombardi in that time, it's up to both of them. All right, because I believe this entire ordeal, it stems from lack of leadership. Because there's no doubt in my mind, if there's a Jerome Bettis, if there's a Hines Ward, if there's a Troy Polamalu, although he didn't really say too much, if there was a James Harrison when he was younger, because he kind of got done wrong by the organization towards the tail end of his career, so I understand. A James Ferrier, all right, a Ryan Clark. Hell, you're bringing those offensive leaders. Hell, even a Heath Miller. You bring in those offensive, defensive leaders, those leaders in the locker room. We don't have this problem because lack of communication was this problem. I don't know how many times I have to continue to reiterate, reverberate, regurgitate this exact same sentiment. It's not as if these people don't know each other. It's not like, oh, we just play football together, we don't converse. You've seen the videos of Le'Veon Bell out with the offensive line. You've seen the videos of Antonio Brown out with his teammates. All these guys have each other's numbers. More importantly, all these guys know where their opposing teammates reside. They know where their people reside. Go to their house. If you were really concerned about what was going on with this player, go see him. That's all it takes. Go see him. Ultimately, that was not the case, and now you see where we are now. Lack of leadership is what caused the destruction of the killer bees for the most part. So that's where we are right now. And Le'Veon Bell, he's going to be gone. Antonio Brown, he's going to be gone. I have merchandise of both these individuals. Am I going to be like one of those fair weather fans in Burnham? Absolutely not. I thank you guys for your contributions to the organization. It has been absolutely phenomenal. But both of you guys, I hope you the best on your future endeavors. As for the Pittsburgh Steelers, let's see what we can get regarding assets out of these good, great all-pro players. And let's move forward in our chase to get 7 Lombardi trophies. Because last I checked, we're no longer alone in the 6th column because that team from Foxborough up north, yeah, they done pulled up and it don't look like they trying to stop. So we might want to get it together, and maybe head up the staircase to be the first team to get there, because we were the first team to get 3. We were the first team to get 4. We weren't the first to get 5. No, we were the first to get 6. Can we be the first to get 7? Let's try to do that. Oh, and before I leave, a lot of people talk about the coach, like I said before, right? A lot of people saying we need a Belichick kind of coach. Everybody wants a Belichick kind of coach until you get a Belichick kind of coach. Because let me just point something out to you. He tried to get rid of Gronk the season after he became a first-team All-Pro. That being this particular year. He wanted to get rid of Brady the year they ended up winning the Super Bowl, or if you just want to go with the timeline, the year after they won the Super Bowl. Everybody wants a Belichick coach until you have a Belichick coach who's willing to get rid of good players before they even out of their prime or when he sees fit. All right? Because if we had Belichick, let's just be honest about it. Big Ben's not the quarterback. Antonio Brown would have already been gone. Le'Veon Bell would have already been gone. Offensive linemen, guys who you talk to or you get hurt or things of that nature, you would have probably been gone. Defensively, we would have had a whole different defense at this point. It sounds as if it'd be successful, but just think about the names on the team, and of the 53 players that you know on the team, just slice that in half, and then the half that you have, slice it again, because that's how much of the team that that would have still been there. Everybody wants that kind of coach until you have that kind of coach. But we do need an attitude change in the locker room. You get rid of Antonio Brown, you get rid of Le'Veon Bell, whoever remains on the roster, everybody comes together, you have a meeting, you see where you want to go, you look each other in the mirror every single day, and you move forward as an organization. For Antonio Brown, my final thoughts, thank you once again for your contributions to the Pittsburgh Steelers and Steeler Nation. We appreciate you, but it's time for you to go.